to launch 3 new XRP. Today, Ripple's native token climbs after ProShares gets SEC approval to launch 3 new XRP ETFs. Senator Cynthia Lummis takes issue with the Fed's withdrawal of crypto guidance for banks, and Veronica McGregor of Exodus explains what was achieved at the last roundtable hosted by the SEC's Crypto Task Force. Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Mackenzie Segalos. Crypto prices are mixed to start the week, with Bitcoin trading flat just under $94,000 as of noon Eastern. Ether fell under 2%, and Ripple's native token, XRP, climbed by the same amount after ProShares got the green light from the SEC to launch 3 new futures-based XRP ETFs. Now, this development comes after Ripple's legal battle with the SEC has ended, opening the door for XRP-related advancements. Now, so far, there's been no development on any spot XRP ETF filings. Okay, let's talk about the top stories. Coinbase wants the government to let SEC staff trade crypto. The company's chief legal officer, Paul Grewal, wrote an open letter to the Office of Government Ethics asking it to rescind and update a legal advisory so that commission staff can hold digital assets. Grewal took to X on Friday, sharing the letter and argued, quote, any potential conflicts can easily be managed. Now, by the way, today, Coinbase Asset Management announced that it's launching a new Bitcoin yield fund. The company's new investment vehicle will be available for international customers only starting May 1st. Coinbase says that it's meant to address the growing institutional demand for Bitcoin yield. The fund aims for a 4 to 8% net return in Bitcoin per year over a market cycle, with investors subscribing and redeeming in Bitcoin. Now, unlike staked digital assets such as Ether and Solana, Bitcoin does not generate yield, so similar funds have emerged to address this limitation. Now, Coinbase says these funds usually require institutional allocators to take on significant investment and operational risk, so the firm designed the new fund to lower that exposure. As of noon, Coinbase shares dipped more than 3.5%. Next, Senator Cynthia Lummis claims the Fed's withdrawal of crypto guidance for banks is, quote, just lip service. In a post on X on Friday, the Republican Wyoming senator laid out several reasons why she feels that way, saying that unlike other agencies, such as the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency and the FDIC, the Fed still uses reputation risk in bank supervision. She also pointed out that a policy statement which says that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are unsafe and unsound has not been withdrawn. Now, Lummis's post is in response to the Fed's Reserve Board decision to withdraw a pair of supervisory letters, including one stipulating that banks give advance notice of planned or current activities tied to crypto. The Fed joined the FDIC and OCC in withdrawing a pair of statements related to the crypto exposure and activity of banks. And we reached out to the Fed for comment, but didn't hear back right away. Finally, as we told you in our last show, the SEC's Crypto Task Force hosted another policy roundtable on Friday focused on crypto custody rules. The event was the second of 4 roundtables hosted by the agency's new task force, and the first one with the newly appointed SEC chair, Paul Atkins, at the helm. The crypto-friendly SEC chair argued at the roundtable that crypto innovation has been stifled over the past several years, and that the market seems to indicate that the current framework badly needs attention. On the sidelines of the session, Atkins told reporters that he was open to a broad reassessment of crypto-related rules, adding that while it's good to have input from Congress, the agency already has ample room to maneuver. Sticking with the crypto policy roundtable for our main story. I was at that event in Washington, D.C. on Friday, and so was Veronica McGregor, the chief legal officer at crypto wallet provider Exodus. We discussed the highlights of the event and what was said behind closed doors. So at Friday's roundtable, SEC Chair Atkins expressed concerns about stifled crypto innovation. From your perspective, what are the most pressing regulatory hurdles facing crypto companies today, and how is Exodus navigating these challenges?
Thanks for asking, and thanks for having me on. I appreciate that.
So how close are we?
Exodus, we are, just to make sure everyone understands, we are a self-custody crypto wallet, allowing our users to interact with their assets within a self-custody wallet, a software wallet. And the SEC has, well, not just the SEC, this administration has shown that they're rolling out sort of a comprehensive approach to crypto regulation, which the industry has been asking for clear regulation for a really long time. As far back as I can remember, we've been asking for reasonable, applicable, appropriate regulation. So we're hoping that's coming. It looks like it probably is, based on the SEC holding these roundtables, which is historic, honestly, to have the SEC ask for the industry's approach and input as they develop their own framework for our assets.
And what were your biggest takeaways from that roundtable? Was there anything that surprised you or shifted your view on where the SEC is headed?
Well, honestly, just having the roundtables are kind of surprising and refreshing, right? So there's that, just starting with that. My roundtable was on custody, and the focus tended to be on like custodial solutions, meaning, folks that are going to be holding other people's assets. And so I just wanted to be in there to make sure that self-custody is protected, as is sort of the original intent of crypto in general, and make sure that customers get to have the option and keep the optionality out there for them.
Do you feel that the tone and substance of Friday's roundtable signal a real shift at the SEC, or was it more of a listening exercise without firm commitments just yet?
I got to say, no, it looked like a real shift to me. I spent some time, there was a speaker's dinner the night before. I spent some time with Commissioner Peirce, and we talked about beekeeping, but we also talked about how there is now a shift. It's a 180 pivot, Mackenzie. I mean, it just is. It's very refreshing to see this coming out of the agencies and to see the bills that are being floated around Congress right now. It's a 180 pivot from 6 months ago for sure.
Now, Commissioner Peirce has been an advocate of the industry for several years now. It was day 4 on the job for Paul Atkins. Any impressions about how he's come into the role? Obviously he's very early in his tenure, but any takeaways there?
Honestly, he's going to know what he's doing. This is not a new post really. So I don't really have day 4. I don't really have any epiphanies about it, but it is rather what I expected. He introduced our panel. It was his first public appearance since being confirmed. So that was a nice little kick for our panel. And I think he's going to set the SEC on the right course.
Since President Trump returned to power, we've seen a surge of pro-crypto policy moves from the SEC. With Chairman Atkins now leading the agency, what additional changes would you like to see?
Well, I'd like to see other agencies weigh in. Right now, the SEC is going to take its time to figure out, what they're going to think about these assets and how they're going to treat those offering those assets. But the other there's plenty of agencies that have dipped their toe in the crypto water over the years, and we would like to see, some of what they're thinking.
Now, Exodus made some pretty significant political contributions, including to the PAC Stand with Crypto. From your perspective, has that investment paid off yet? And how do you measure success when it comes to political advocacy?
I would say those donations did pay off. And for the viewers, we made a pledge, a cash donation to Stand with Crypto, and then we also did a big marketing buy to push people to the Stand with Crypto. And there were a lot of get out the vote events. And given that, we have an administration that is, touting itself as pro-crypto and making some changes that need to be made, I would say those donations were, strategically placed and are paying off.
Now, Exodus emphasizes self-custody, ensuring that users retain control over their private keys. How does that core philosophy shape your approach to regulatory compliance and user protection?
So regulatory compliance would be slightly lighter for us in terms of what we have to comply with, because we have a self-custody wallet and therefore we don't have a lot of information on users. But in reality, if you look at any of the big hacks that have happened or exploits where people have lost money, those have all been in a custody environment. So a centralized exchange or some other situation where someone could hack into the system and get user money. In our case, if you hack into our system, somehow you're going to get our money and not users. So what I always say, and I think what I said on Friday, is that even if we wanted to steal your money, we couldn't.
Last question for you. You've worked across the crypto regulatory landscape, from leading Shapeshift's legal strategy during a pivotal era to practicing at top law firms. How have those experiences shaped your approach to building a legal and compliant?
Good morning, family. Welcome to Coffee and Crypto. This is episode number 267. All right. We are blessed to be able to have 267 episodes. And I'm blessed to be able to lead this ship each and every single Tuesday and Thursday. As often as we possibly can, we try to stay consistent. And one of the main things we try to do here at Coffee and Crypto is just this, right? Wake people up. All right, I got the wake up cup this morning because right now is a time for you to wake up. I believe that most people will miss the next 100x that could potentially happen in crypto in this next bull run, all because of either a lack of interest or a lack of capability of just sticking with something long enough until they have accumulated enough of these assets to be dangerous, to create true generational wealth, y'all. Today, I rock my crypto hat with Stand with Crypto, as y'all can see. Y'all can see the Stand with Crypto on the side, right? So, I'm making sure that I'm standing on business. All right, I see y'all going crazy over in the Discord group. I appreciate y'all for waking up our Discord family. And look, y'all, if you're on YouTube right now, share this link out with somebody that you feel like may need it. Share this link out with somebody that you love, like, respect, and also make sure you just smash that thumbs up button right underneath this video. You don't even have to subscribe. We would love for you to subscribe, but hey, maybe by the end of this video, you will subscribe because of the value that you get for free. However, even beyond that, just click that thumbs up button, and it's free. It really helps me grow the channel. It allows more people to be able to find us and access what we're doing here. And that's what it's all about. So I want to say thank you all so much for being here, for being the best part of our show. And we are now at 267 episodes. And before we get started, I have two things to say. The first thing that I have to say is that Coffee and Crypto Network is for entertainment purposes only. We do not offer financial advice on the podcast. So if you are looking for some type of advice, some type of financial advice, please do me a solid favor. Okay, please do me a solid favor and just go ahead and just set up a meeting with a financial advisor, or also you can set up a meeting with one of our blockchain strategists. Sorry, y'all, I had a message come through and it distracted me. My apologies, y'all. But with that being said, I'm just trying to give more people some more time to hop on, because today's show is extremely important. We're going to talk a lot on the, I would say, on the macro side of investing into cryptocurrency, right? There's going to be a lot of macro talk today when we're talking about digital assets and cryptocurrency. There's a lot of new partnerships. We have a potential XRP ETF through ProShares that will be dropped tomorrow, April 30th, going into May 1st. So it's some big news in the crypto space. If you're wondering, why XRP did a little bit of a spike, it was because of that news. And remember, y'all, we buy the rumors and sell the news. I do have some ideas and some thoughts on the XRP ETF, so we will dive into that today. Okay, so thank you all so much, and let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And we are going to dive into the very first thing that we have to talk about. But y'all already know the first thing we do is we got to look at the technicals. We got to look and see where we are in the market, because for us to be able to go anywhere, right, we have to know exactly where we are today. Okay, so let's look at our current market cap. We are at a $2.97 trillion market cap. So we've definitely had an increase in market cap, and that's because Bitcoin is back up to 94, almost $95,000 at this very moment. Okay, so we are on the up and up. We are almost back at a $3 trillion market cap. And if you all are in my Discord group, that's why I just messaged, threw a little bit of FOMO in there, because I said that this might be the very last, this might be the final hoorah, right? Family, like seriously, like this might be the final hoorah in regards to us being in a bear pullback, right? In the overall cycle of where we are, right? We have just experienced our first pullback in our bullish cycle. right? And with that pullback, this is usually the fake out. It fakes people out. It lowers people's morale. And when you don't have networks and communities like coffee and crypto to plug into on a daily basis, right? To ask questions in, to gain energy from. Sometimes when you're doing this thing by yourself, you actually cost yourself a lot more money. Okay, it actually makes more sense to be a part of a thriving community because you have to think about it, right? If you are listening to my voice right now somewhere on YouTube, it's a real thing. You don't have anybody to talk to a lot of the times about this stuff, right? And even if you do, people think you're crazy. They don't understand, right? In order to stay in this space amongst people who don't understand you, you need to find some friends or some colleagues that do, right? Here at Coffee and Crypto, we care. We want to see you grow. We want to see you win. And that's why we offer a 7-day free trial for our Discord group for all new members. So if you want to be a new member, if you want to check us out for a week, we're giving a week away for free to you all, just so you can come in and check it out. Okay. It's completely up to you. To me, it doesn't really make sense to come into a group for 7 days and think you're going to get a lot of value and then just up and leave, right? You got to stick with it. But if you're that type of person and you just want to, for free, 7 days, just hop in there, get whatever value you can for 7 days and keep it pushing. All right. But we definitely want you to come check us out, and we love to house you and show you exactly what we do here in our community. Okay. So the first thing that we have to talk about today is the SEC has approved, and I don't know if this is necessarily true. I haven't seen anything come out yet directly from the SEC to me. In order for these types of statements to be extremely true, we need to see official Twitter feed from the SEC, or we need to see some type of documentation from the SEC, or even from Ripple themselves, right? It would be nice to see it from Ripple themselves that the first XRP ETF has been launched. But there is rumor that on tomorrow, XRP will finally get its first Pro Trust ETF. Now, this is where it gets a little bit confusing for me, or where I'm kind of like, I don't know if this is necessarily it, because first off, we have not seen a BlackRock ETF listing yet. And typically what we've seen, most ETFs that get approved, specifically Bitcoin that has gotten approved, BlackRock is usually the signal, right? And so BlackRock did come in a little bit later on the Bitcoin ETF, but not too much later. Okay. Right now we have about 18 to maybe 19 XRP ETFs on the table, and BlackRock does not even have one yet. All right, which is not concerning. They are coming. We know that, right? We definitely know Larry Fink and BlackRock is not going to miss out on this type of wealth building, on this type of money, right? But we're still waiting. So, I mean, if we do get a ProShares Trust ETF, then that will be cool. But another thing outside of BlackRock, even if BlackRock doesn't, typically you don't just see one ETF, right? You don't usually just see one ETF get approved. You usually see quite a few get approved back to back, right? So those are things that we kind of see that we've noticed, specifically looking at our past on ETF, even just looking at the most recent past from last year when we got the Bitcoin ETF, right? So that was extremely bullish. But there are rumors right now that on April 30th, pursuant to paragraph B, okay, so we would have to kind of go, and look at paragraph B and stuff. I didn't pull up that article, but if you are able to pull up this full Form N1A, a registration statement from the SEC for the Ripple, from the ProShares XRP Trust ETF, then make sure that you let us know in the Discord group, maybe what you found. Thank you all so much for smashing that thumbs up button. Please make sure you smash that thumbs up button. It's completely free and it helps us out with the show. All right, now that we've talked about the XRP ETF, the reason why this is important is because it now gives institutions, banks, and financial advisors, it gives them a product to be able to sell us. The reason why they can't tell you about XRP, but they can tell you about Bitcoin is because Bitcoin finally gave them a product. They finally had Bitcoin ETFs, and now they can do marketing campaigns and they can legally tell you, right? And why? They can legally tell you because they have, right? They have the ETF, some type of exchange traded product. Okay. We're going to notice the same thing for XRP. All right. They're going to be able to start to issue these ETFs, and that's going to allow for institutions, banks, and financial advisors to advise you and to also help you store your assets safely through their platform. Now, when you think about it, right? When you get an ETF, you're really going with the World Economic Forum's agenda, because you got to remember the World Economic Forum, their agenda was simple. They said that you will own nothing and you will be okay with it. You will own nothing and you will be happy with owning nothing. So you got to realize that, buying the ETF for XRP, buying the ETF for Bitcoin, buying the potential ETF for HBAR or whatever else comes out, Solana, SWI, right? There's so many amazing networks, right, that ETFs could be built upon. And so when you get these ETFs, you're actually renting them, right? It's like going and renting a house instead of buying the house. Right now, sometimes you can rent to own the house, right? But see, most people aren't renting to own. Most people are just renting. And why do you think BlackRock and Grayscale and Vanguard and a lot of these large institutional players are buying up single family homes left and right in the hood and renovating them and then just not putting them back on the market for sale, but now listing them for rent because they are trying to own every asset that they possibly can, right? So do not get tricked. Now, the ETF is important for certain people, but it's not important. It's not important for me, right? I don't think it's important for me because I believe in ownership. I do not believe in renting the ship. I want to own the ship. I don't want to rent the ship. All right. So I'm going to play a quick video to talk about snowflakes and snowballs. Okay. I hope y'all are ready to talk about snowflakes and snowballs. Somebody find the snowflake and the snowball emoji for me real quick, and make sure you drop that snowflake and snowball emoji. All right, because it's getting real cold out here. The snowflake that becomes the snowball, and soon an avalanche. In this video, you'll hear how the Fed propped up the markets and intervened when the Fed fails, and if will, who steps in to save them. So when the Federal Reserve fails, the IMF steps in. And why do you think the IMF created what we've talked about many times on this show, SDRs, which stands for Special Drawing Rights? Special Drawing Rights. Let's listen to this information right here, because once you hear this, it should make a lot more sense for you. Pay attention.
And so that's the snowpack. So at this point, we're just waiting for the snowflake. We're waiting for the catalyst that will cause this catastrophe to come tumbling down. The one difference between a natural system such as an avalanche and a human-based system such as the financial system is that there is the ability to intervene. Imagine an avalanche is coming down and somehow a 10-foot steel fence, popped out of the mountain and stopped the avalanche. Well, you could imagine something like that. They don't exist in the real world, but you could picture something like that. That was the role of the Fed. In other words, this cascade that happened in 2008 was underway. Morgan Stanley was days away from failure. After Lehman, after AIG, Morgan Stanley would have been next. They were days away. Goldman Sachs would have failed after that. Then Citibank, then Bank of America. Who knows about JP Morgan? Maybe, maybe not. But in all likelihood, yes, that all the major banks would have failed. That didn't happen. And we know why, because the Fed was the fence. It popped up and said, no, we are now going to guarantee every bank deposit in the United States, regardless of size. There's been a $250,000 limit. I say the Fed, I'm including the FDIC and the Treasury and OCC and all the government agencies combined. We're going to guarantee every bank deposit in the United States. We're going to guarantee every money market fund in the United States. We will not only start printing money by the trillions, but they engaged in tens of trillions of dollars of, at the time, undisclosed swap arrangements with the European Central Bank, because the European banks had dollar liabilities. They owed dollars to U.S. money market funds. The European Central Bank can print euros, but they can't print dollars. So they couldn't bail out their own banks because they didn't have dollars. So what they did, they printed up a bunch of euros. The Fed printed up a bunch of dollars. They swapped the euros for the dollars. We still have the euros. They got the dollars. They used that to bail out the banks. So this is by the tens of trillions. So you add up all the guarantees, all the money printing, all the swaps that went into this, far beyond what you see on the Fed balance sheet. Much of that is still in place. Not all of it, some of it's been unwound, but it's all still in place to a great extent. The banks are larger. So the whole thing is worse and more dangerous than it was. We're just waiting for that snowflake or the catalyst. And then
So we're just waiting on that snowflake, which is the catalyst, y'all. You got to realize that this is a top-down approach in banking. See, we are the bottom level, right? But you got to realize it's a trickle-down effect. You know, they have to start with the IMF, the BIS, the World Bank. They have to start up there. Most people don't even know what most of these companies are. Now, the IMF is the International Monetary Fund, right? And they're the ones who hold these SDRs, these special drawing right assets, which is a basket of different countries' currencies. I think the top 5 or top 6 countries by GDP or something, we hold their currencies in a basket to help banks bail out, to have money to put into the banks, right? Now, imagine how tough that is because we continue to have to print out money when you could use something like XRP, which is completely pre-mined, right? The 100 billion XRP that was created is not like Bitcoin, where like if all the Bitcoin runs out right now, we would have to wait until the next halving in order for more Bitcoin to actually be released and by the miners, by the market, right? Well, with XRP, it's all out there. So all they got to do is go and purchase, right? Institutions and retail, we are going to purchase all of the XRP off the market. And once it's all in our wallets and their wallets, what do you think is going to happen? The price is going to completely explode. And we're going to talk about that today. This is your last moment in history to be a part of history, right? And you don't want to miss it. So guess what? Ray Dalio dropped something that I thought was pretty interesting, right? He says, it's too late. The changes are coming. Some people believe that the tariff disruptions will settle down as more negotiations happen, right? And greater thought is given to how to structure them to work in a sensible way. However, I am now hearing from a large and growing number of people who are having to deal with these issues that it already is too late. For example, many exporters to the United States and importers from other countries that trade with the U.S. are saying they have to greatly reduce their dealings with the United States, recognizing that whatever happens with tariffs, these problems won't go away, and that radically reduced interdependencies with the U.S. is a reality that has to be planned for. Most obviously, American producers and investors in China, Chinese producers and investors in the United States that deal with Chinese, and Chinese producers and investors in the United States that deal with Americans, but now go about making alternative plans, regardless of what the next round of trade negotiations are like. While this needs to be minimized, U.S.-China interdependence and worry about conflict is now broadly recognized. This view is now becoming more commonly believed by most people in most countries who are dealing with most issues related to trade relations, capital market relations, geopolitical relations, and military relations with the United States, right? Though not fully realized, it is also increasingly being realized that the United States' role as the world's biggest consumer of manufactured goods and greatest producer of debt assets to finance its overconsumption is unsustainable. It was a lot. That was a mouthful. I'm gonna repeat that. I need y'all to stick around and hear this. Though not yet fully realized, it is also increasingly being realized that the United States' role as the world's biggest consumer of manufactured goods and greatest producer of debt assets to finance its overconsumption is unsustainable. So assuming that one can sell and lend to the U.S. and get paid back with hard, not devalued dollars on their U.S. debt holdings is naive thinking. So other plans have to be made, right? Number one, we are on the brink of a monetary order, right? Number two, the progression of events leading up to these increasing disorders is similar to those that have progressed many times throughout history. Okay. Number three, there's a growing risk that the U.S. imposing these challenges to deal with it will increasingly be bypassed by a world of countries that will adapt to these separations from the United States and create new synapses that grow around it. Number four, if these circumstances are managed in the best ways, the outcomes will be much better than if they are managed in the worst ways. So this is, I jumped around, but I wanted you all to see that this is the real thing, and it's already here in our face right here, right now. And also, if we are to go back real quick, I want to show y'all something real quick. I want to show y'all what's live. Okay, pay attention, y'all. Look at this right here, y'all. This right here says TFD Initiative Connect, Dubai in partnership with XDC Network. This is live, family. Only 27 people, right, is watching this live thing with XDC. So when I see this and I see 27 people watching it live, because XDC is a large company, right? XDC is a company that is worth millions, actually $1 billion probably, right? They're worth a lot of money. XDC is, right? Top 100 token, right? ZenFin network. What do they deal with? They deal with the solution, right, of not cross-border payments, that's XRP, XDC deals with the solution for trade finance. Now, I want y'all to come back here real quick because it'll make sense. Look at this, y'all. It says United States is the greater producer of debt assets to finance. So this entire thing, they talked about trade, the tariffs and the trade war and all these things that's going on, right? And then you turn around and you look at companies like XDC, who's live right now in Dubai, talking about the future of trade finance, right? XDC is here already, right? Trade finance solutions are here already. Cross-border payment solutions are here already. And we are in the brink of something bigger than we can even fathom. I hope that you all gain value from this video right here, because I surely did. Enjoy.
Let's do some crazy XRP projections. Let's go. All Japanese banks using XRP, 25 trillion. The Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation, 3 quadrillion. SWIFT, 1.5 quadrillion. The top 10 US banks, 12.5 trillion. Tokenization, 2 trillion. MasterCard, 9 trillion. Visa, 16 trillion. Derivatives market, 1 quadrillion. American Express, 1 trillion. And the new deal with Hidden Road, 3 trillion. Now you add all this up, and the total is 5 quadrillion, $530 trillion, possibly running on the XRP ledger. So let's lowball it and say that XRP only got 1% of the 5.5 quadrillion volume. That would give it a market cap of 55 trillion. Price equals market cap divided by circulating supply. So that would be 55 trillion divided by 58 billion. Circulating supply gives you a price of $943. That's at 1%. Let's say they got 10%. That would be a market cap of 550 trillion, which in the end gives you a price of $9,438. So then let's just split it right down the middle. They get 5%. That would end up being a price of $4,719. So the volume numbers of all these partnerships are fairly accurate, but the outcomes are very highly dependent on many factors, like the big one. How much will XRP be in demand?
All right, it's a TikTok video, right? So, I'm not saying that it's a reputable source, but it's something to think about, right? It's okay to dream. It's okay to use your imagination. It's okay to think about what life would be if each one of your XRPs today. I want y'all to just take a second and really think about it and let the chills go through your body. I want y'all to really think about how much XRP you may own. And then I want you to think about how each XRP potentially could be worth $4,719. Each one that you own, every one could be worth $4,719. Each one you own. Crazy, right? Crazy to think about it. Crazy, but it's true. Okay. Now, I want to talk about the reason as to why XRP may not actually be moving in a lot of these utility tokens, because I want to give y'all some faith. We still got 30 minutes left, y'all. So, you know, we've already done a lot. We've already talked about a lot. So let's dive a little deeper. There's something called dark pools. Okay. There's something called dark pools in crypto. Okay. Dark pools are private, non-public exchanges or liquidity pools where large trades can be executed without immediately, right, revealing the details to the public market. So they're originally from traditional finance. Dark pools let institutional investors trade large volumes without causing big price swings. In crypto, they serve the same purpose. So dark pools come from traditional finance. So you know they're going to be in decentralized finance, right? They serve the same purpose, allowing whales or institutions to buy or sell large amounts of crypto without slippage or front running. So how do they work in crypto? Trades are matched off-chain or in private systems. Details like trade size, price, and counterparties are often not disclosed until after the execution or never disclosed at all. They might use smart contracts, layer 2 networks, or private over-the-counter desks built on blockchain. Why use a dark pool? Well, number one, they want to avoid price impact. Publicly selling, if you publicly sell $10 million worth of Ethereum, that could crash the price. A dark pool avoids that. Protect strategy. Institutions don't want to telegraph big moves to the market, because if an institution tells you, hey, I'm about to sell $1 billion worth of this asset, what do you think everybody's going to do? We're going to sell it at the same damn time. Future voice. We're going to sell it at the same damn time, and then everything's going to crash, right? Check this out. Risk and controversies. There's a lack of transparency, right? There's a potential for manipulation. There's regulatory scrutiny. These are things that's happening, right? Okay. And there's examples. Paradigm, Galaxy Digital, and other over-the-counter desks is what they use, right? Galaxy Digital is owned by Mike Novogratz, right? They even do private orders on like Uniswap and some of these dexes, right? So I just wanted to bring this to your attention that there's something out here called dark pools. Now that we know that there are dark pools, this guy right here, Jake Clever, he really broke it down very eloquently. And I would love for each and one of us to listen to this, because from now on, this can give you the faith and the realization that, hey, you know, orders are happening. We know things are happening, right? We know these things are happening, and you're wondering, why don't I hear about these transactions? Well, it's because of dark pools, and I just learned this today. So I'm happy that you're also learning it. Light it up one time and let's learn together.
The rise of dark pools in crypto is a double-edged sword. In the short term, it can hide bullish momentum, suppressing price action, but over the long term, it creates the perfect setup. Invisible accumulation, shrinking supply, and then the dam breaks. And then we have an explosive move to the upside that few people are prepared for. So let's talk about that in today's video and dispel all the myths about dark pools. You might be watching the markets right now thinking, well, why isn't crypto exploding? Even with massive news and adoption, the prices feel stuck. Well, today, I'm going to show you why dark pools are the invisible hand suppressing prices right now, and why when it breaks, it's going to trigger one of the biggest explosions we've ever seen. So what is a dark pool? Imagine you're buying $500 million worth of XRP, and you don't want the market to front run you. That's where dark pools come. Dark pools are private venues where large orders are executed off of a public exchange. It's used by institutions to avoid moving the market and causing FOMO. It's basically invisible buying. Trades are disclosed after they're completed, not during. Smart money doesn't make noise, okay? They accumulate silently. They talk their book, And right now they're using dark pools to do it. Institutions are entering crypto at scale, but they need the privacy and efficiency of these dark pools to do it the way that they want to. Connect, SFOX, and Kraken have all started offering these services to institutional clients. And then we also have some other interesting things like REN protocol, which are providing decentralized versions of these dark pools, which are emerging right now. And these are the players that are coming in. We've got hedge funds, family offices, and even nation states that want to accumulate quietly without moving the price and causing a bunch of people to run in after them. And they want to continue to accumulate at these prices before things actually get kicked off here for utility. Public exchanges aren't going to show you what's going on. In the public market, large buys are visible and they drive the price up substantially. In dark pools, the buying pressure is hidden. Prices stay flat, which is exactly what we're seeing in the market right now. Retail investors don't see the excitement and there's no FOMO that kicks in and a bunch of other buying volume come in from other people, retail and institutions included. So XRP could be suppressed significantly right now while they're accumulating heavily on the back end, but the price action looks dead. So retail is going to get upset. There's going to be people that sell. These are the periods in crypto where people, even with high conviction, lose hope and move on to the next thing. But if you can hold on, I think you're going to be surprised by what happens next. There's a lot of stigma and like stuff out there in the market right now where people are upset about dark pools, but I'm going to explain why they're actually going to be really beneficial for the people that can hang out and enjoy the upside. So when they flip the switch, it's going to be a vertical liftoff, and those waiting will be priced out almost instantly. Okay,
Wow.
These institutions are silently accumulating, and what that does is it drains liquidity from public exchanges. At some point, demand on the exchanges will exceed the supply, and the market will scramble to reprice itself. There'll be a supply shock. It'll be a sudden 2, 3, 5x move to the upside. No sellers means that price will have to gap up dramatically. And dark pool accumulation is a delayed mechanism that will continue to aggregate and purchase supply without affecting the price on the public exchanges. And then when there's no longer available supply through the dark pools, they'll have to move over here. And that's when you'll see the big move. If you're judging crypto's future by what you see on public exchanges today, you're missing the mark. The real buying is happening in these dark pools. Stay patient, stay positioned. And when the dam breaks, make sure you're not trying to scramble to buy it at $10 when you could have bought it at 50 cents.
Hello. Somebody better wake up and smell the coffee this morning, baby. Wake up and smell the coffee. Now, on to the next information. Okay. On to the next information. Now, this was a confidential Ripple webinar, right? We use XRP to generate liquidity for payment flows and increase the velocity of payments globally. They use XRP to generate liquidity. They're going to need all 100 billion of the XRP to save the world from global debt crisis. This is the new bailout and bail-in for the banks. Will not start with regional and local banks. It will start with the top of the banks, because they're going to use what's called the ESDR, which is the electronic special drawing rights, which will not be countries' currencies, but it will be a special basket of digital assets that will be used and held by multiple countries. Listen closely.
Will be comfortable transacting. So we have a rule set and we have governance. And the final two components of this, one is liquidity. And this is where blockchain comes in. This is where the cryptocurrency XRP really comes into its own. We use it to create global liquidity for our payment flows. And with that, we create much more velocity in payment flows globally. That's how that vision picks together. And finally, we want to make this technology very easily accessible. So we've developed API technology such that whether a bank is running Ripple in-house, or whether, let's say, a corporate is using Ripple via a hosted service, the API is there to encapsulate Ripple processing and make the whole experience very easy to access and use. So that's our stack. And again, the message here is there's a lot more going on here than pure blockchain. So blockchain thinking and cryptocurrency thinking occurs throughout the stack. We've applied the knowledge we have and the experience we have very, very broadly to the entire portfolio of things you have to do to make a payment network work, including creating our own protocol, including using our cryptography for messaging, and also bringing our cryptocurrency into the liquidity piece. And we've also got away from blockchain completely in some ways in creating governance structures and rule sets within which companies, organizations can communicate with each other. And that's what we're bringing out to market now. And that's why one of the reasons why we're getting very good traction worldwide, because we have a complete set that's really ready for prime time versus experiments and
I just want y'all to see. Do y'all see the companies down here? Amazon, Uber, right? They've had different companies on this PowerPoint slide, right? But you see Ripple right there with Amazon. Then you see right here countries, right? India, Brazil, Mexico, Philippines. XRP provides liquidity to all of these companies, right? And then you got the Ripple API, which is they're talking about, and the Ripple API can be connected into the Uber and Amazon and any other e-commerce type of business. They connect the API for Ripple to be able to start to interface, to be able to accept digital assets. They have been building the infrastructure. Okay, API is nothing but a infrastructure, right? Do you know what API stands for, y'all? Let's look. I know what it stands for, but I be forgetting. So look at this right here, y'all. Look at this. Application Programming Interface. Okay, what's another word? Okay, what's another word for interface? Okay, let's see. I don't know. Okay, look at this right here. Another word for interface. Okay, network, link, linking, attachment, communication, connection, linkage, networking, coupling, right? These are other words: connection, link, boundary, border. These are words for interface. So there's a new interface that is developing around the world. Okay, now here is an example of API that could be like Ripple or Hedera or XLM or XDC, but from an ISO 20022 compliant holders out there, here you go.
So how close are we to that currency reset we're all looking for? Well, I don't know that, but I do know that down here in the South, another bank is now sending out updates about the ISO 222 global standard messaging service. And if you're in crypto, you kind of know what that is already about. But here you'll see that they're going to educate their customers all about this software is basically what it is, and how to prepare for it. And yes, the payment system that it's getting ready to update. And that's essentially going to allow this software, once it integrates into the bank, it's going to allow us to send money as fast and quickly as we can, a text or an email. And a really good Google search would be, what's the list of the top ISO 222 compliant coins? Well, there's that one at the top, XRP, and you can imagine the rest. And there you go if you want a screenshot. But outside of that, good luck. We're close. So how close?
All right, y'all. Y'all saw the names. Y'all saw the video. Let's keep pushing forward, y'all. Now, we talked about the IMF. Now, can you believe that 99% of people have never heard of the BIS, the Bank of International Settlements, right? Well, they oversee the entire monetary system. And we're going to listen to an interview on Tucker Carlson's show that explains just that. Enjoy.
If you look at the group of people who meet through the BIS,
What's that?
The BIS is the Bank of International Settlements, and it's the central bank of central banks.
Where is that located?
It's in Basel, Switzerland, and it has 63 of the most powerful central banks as its members, and the New York Fed and the Fed are both shareholders. They became shareholders in 1994.
In one sentence, what's the purpose of the Bank of International Settlements?
Okay, so there are two things you need to know about the Bank of International Settlements.
I'm not sure my brain's big enough for this, but keep going.
It is.
Okay.
It has sovereign immunity.
What does that mean?
It's above the law.
It's its own country.
Right. It's its own country. It has its own police force. And essentially, other than one of its staff being in a car accident or, minor things, No one has the legal authority to move against it.
Wow.
Okay, that's sovereign immunity. That's number one.
Wow.
Number two, it can move money and hold it on its on its balance sheet and manage money secretly.
Wow.
So if I want to, I'm grossly oversimplifying. If I want to steal 21 trillion from the US government and park it on the balance sheet of the BIS, it can move it anywhere in the world and it can keep it on its balance sheet secretly.
Why would there be an organization? But first of all, where does its power? Like, who empowered it to have sovereign immunity and the right?
It was created after World War I and sort of collected its powers and got going in the 30s. And it was created in theory to manage the reparations of the German government. But if you read the real history, it was because the Bank of England and the central bankers wanted an entity that had sovereign immunity. They wanted to be able to move money secretly. So for
Wow. All right. So let's dive in. DeFi. Okay, there's a company called DeFi.tech. Okay, that's their website. Okay, but I told y'all DeFi is the future. Okay, DeFi is the future. Now, I'm gonna pull up their Twitter account real quick. Okay, we're just gonna go over to their Twitter real quick. Okay, bridging TradeFi with innovative exposures to digital assets. Okay, they're already over-the-counterly traded. They're, their subsidiaries is like Valor Digital, Valor Funds, a issuer of digital asset ETPs, exchange traded products. Okay, they have another subsidiary, Reflexivity Research, leading crypto native research free newsletter. And then they have Digital Steelman, which is a digital asset liquidity solutions for you and your business, subsidiary of DeFi Tech Global. So they have all these businesses that they're touching, right, within just one ecosystem. They're bridging a bunch of different things. Okay, now. Okay, I need y'all to bear with me, okay? Because we got some big news to talk about today, okay? Now, before we do, I want to talk a little bit more about them, okay? Institutional grade exposure to digital assets through issuing of exchange traded products, trading, strategic ventures, and Web3 infrastructure. There's that word right there, okay? Now, let's scroll down. Okay, sorry, y'all got the hiccups, but let's scroll down, okay? And they have a couple of things. They have DeFi technologies, exchange traded products, and DeFi ventures. Everything is around the blockchain though, okay? Now, I want you to see how low these numbers are right now. Okay, Valor Capital, Valor Asset Management, as of February 28th of this year, they have 1.7 billion Canadian dollars that they are managing, which is equivalent of 750 million US dollars. Okay, they have a $132 million CAD in their DeFi Alpha. Okay, and they have AUM, asset under management, in DeFi Ventures for 53.7 million Canadian dollars. So this is a Canadian tech company, okay? As you can see, it is Canadian. That's very important because now we're going to go into a couple of things before we get there. Now, I want y'all to see this, okay? Valor Digital. This came out December 18th of last year. Valor Digital Securities Limited and the Hashgraph Group, okay, expand access to Hedera HBAR ETP exchange traded products with the Euronext listing, okay? So in Europe, there were new HBAR ETFs that were launching on Euronext, okay? HBAR is known about worldwide, Europe, the United States, Asia. Everybody knows about Hedera Hashgraph. Now, let's move a little bit further, okay? Now, this was this company, Valor, that you all see. And the reason why I wanted to do that is because we just read an article about Valor Digital Securities Limited and then how they have partnered with Hedera Hashgraph. So, they want you to gain exposure through their 64 ETPs, which are listed on 8 different exchanges. Okay, and you wonder what are some of the ETPs? Well, if we look at some of the single asset categories, you have the One Valor Hedera physical staking. You have the One Valor ICP staking. I told y'all, I believe ICP is a extremely slept on project. You have the Aave SEK, which is a different type of ETP. Okay, but then if you scroll down right here, okay, scroll down a little bit, you'll see XRP as well, right? They have the XRP ETF as well through them that they're looking at. So I just wanted to show you all that Valor is a big player and they're a growing player in the ecosystem, and they're going to grow even more now because of the things that we're going to talk about moving forward. Now, DeFi Technologies announces, this came out February 6th of this year, okay? So we're moving up in the dates. I want y'all to see that we're progressing in the dates. DeFi Technologies announces attendance and a platinum sponsorship of the Capital Markets Forum in Riyadh, Nigeria in this year in 2025. So what are they talking about, right? A financial technology company that pioneers the convergence of traditional capital markets with the world of decentralized finance is pleased to announce that its subsidiary Valor, a leading issuer of ETPs providing simplified access to digital assets, will be a platinum sponsor, okay, in Riyadh. Excuse me, I said Nigeria. My bad, y'all. Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. How did I say Riyadh, Nigeria? My bad, y'all. Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Okay, and this had happened February 18th through the 20th. Now, this is big because we've seen Valor and DeFi in Canada. We've seen Valor and DeFi now in Saudi Arabia. We see Valor and DeFi also, where else did we see it so far? In Europe, okay? We saw it in Europe, okay? In Africa, okay? And now, y'all, hold on. I got one more for y'all. Now, before we get into that, y'all got to remember the Nairobi Securities Exchange, which is in Africa, okay, joined the Hedera Council to expedite tokenization of securities in the Kenya's capital markets. So Nairobi, which is huge, right? Nairobi, Kenya, the capital of Kenya, their stock exchange, which is one of the largest stock exchange in Africa, okay? They are now a part of the Hedera Governing Council. Right now, they joined as the 32nd member. They were the last member to be announced. So we still have 8 more seats left on the governing council for Hedera, which I believe most of those will be announced this year. However, this was a very strategic play because I want y'all to see what really just happened. But before we do, I'm going to read this little thing right here. Nairobi Stock Exchange commitment to the digitization of real-world assets is underscored by plans to launch tokenized security and digital assets on its exchange. This happened a couple months ago, all right? And just like that, boom, as of April 21st, DeFi Technologies and SoFi partner with Nairobi Securities Exchange to design and launch Kenya's digital exchange, KDX, the very first digital asset exchange in all of Africa. And it does not have to say it's launched on Hedera Hashgraph, which it does not say, because it's up to us to understand the partnerships. Do y'all see this logo right here? Nairobi Securities Exchange. Do y'all see what's going on right here? What does it say? Nairobi Securities Exchange, the exact same company that partnered with Hedera to tokenize their securities. They don't have to announce Hedera, which they didn't. You won't find Hedera nowhere in here. Okay, well, maybe, I don't know. I really didn't look. Okay, it may be actually here though. It would make more sense for it to be here. But what I'm gonna do real quick is let me look it up right quick. Hedera. Oh, yep, it's in here one time. I was wrong. Okay, look at this. Let's read it. The proposed KDX will be a fully regulated platform dedicated to tokenizing real-world assets, including equities, debt, funds, and commodities, while enabling primary issuance, trading, and liquidity provisioning, built with full regulatory compliance and robust technological underpinnings. KDX will leverage blockchain technology, including integration with Hedera, okay, to facilitate secure, transparent, and efficient transactions. Like I do it every single time, y'all. We absolutely crush this and kill it. I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing my screen, and y'all already know how I do. I'm gonna drop the mic. I really appreciate y'all for tuning in, tapping in, and plugging in to today's episode. I hope y'all got a lot of value. I hope that y'all got exactly what you came here for. Remember, we have the greatest morning show on earth here at Coffee and Crypto Network, and I have some really, really big announcements that I cannot wait to announce to you all coming out very soon. I'm not a person that say I got announcements coming and I never announce them. This is going to be huge, y'all. I can't announce it yet, but I will be announcing it very soon. But something I can announce is that I am opening up a mastermind group now. I've never done this. And it's going to be a mastermind group for people who, the main thing, it's not for investors. Okay, it is for investors, but by default, this mastermind group is really for business owners and people who want to really connect their business into the landscape of Web3. They don't know what to build on. They have no relationships with smart contract providers. They need a blockchain strategist to help them strategize on their NFTs, their tokenization, their everything. We have that here at Coffee and Crypto, and I am proud to announce, and I'm going to soft launch this for y'all, okay? I'm going to soft launch this for all of us right now. Okay, and if you are interested, remember, y'all, you can let me know. Not everybody's going to join this, and I truly don't care. Okay, I really don't care because this right here really ain't for everybody. So, but for the people that it makes sense for, I really want to go ahead and just let y'all know about the new program that I am releasing. Really in May. We're going to start this out in May, going into June. And it's going to be extremely beneficial to a lot of people. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. We're going to make this announcement. And if you're interested in, saying anything, if you're interested in commenting on our show today, go ahead and raise those hands up because I'm going to call on you all next. But before I do that, okay, I want to talk about my inner circle. Okay, every great community, every great coach has an inner circle. Okay. Every great coach has an inner circle. And I've never released this before because I did not think I was ready, but now we are ready. Hey, listen, we ready as spaghetti. Okay. We are ready spaghetti right now at Coffee and Crypto. I want to announce and reveal to y'all my brand new mastermind group called the Elite Brew Crew. It's going to be a 12-month coaching program. It is a high ticket price. However, for the first 10 people that actually joins, you will get half off on this price. Everybody else will be $8,000. It'll be $4,000. All right. What all do you get for $4,000? A lot. Okay. If you went out and got business coaching from someone, it's going to cost you. It's not cheap, right? Business coaching to tokenize businesses before tokenization, even in the regular centralized world, coaching is not cheap. $4,000 is still cheap, y'all. Okay. But I want people to be a part of this, right? I would love to get 10 people a part of this that are really interested in upgrading. What all do you get for the $8,000 price, which will be half off to the first 10 people? But what do you get? You get a quarterly personal strategy session. So every quarter we meet on your personal strategy, not just for your business, but also for your personal investments. And then also if your business, let's say you have a business and you're like, look, I want to build out a treasury roadmap for my business. We can help you do that, because imagine being able to set up a treasury for your business the same way that the United States does it. We're going to help you do all of these things, right? Also, we have a monthly group session where not only are we going to meet quarterly, but once a month, we'll be able to come together, okay, and talk over Zoom and also in person. Throughout this next year, we're going to at least have one in-person meetup somewhere around the United States. It's going to be a place. So whoever's in this program, get your flights together, get ready, because the 10 or 20 or however many people come in this, we are going to meet for a mastermind weekend where we're going to really plug in. I'm going to bring some of the biggest people that I know that I can get in one room here in Atlanta, and we'll all meet. This is something that we're going to do. But before we even do that one big group session, every month we're going to be meeting on Zoom, and we're going to be talking about how businesses are going. How are you IPing your business in Web3? How are you accepting crypto payments for your business? What infrastructures do you have set up? Are you connecting your business into DePIN and DeFi and all these different things? This is what we are going to build, okay? Because you got to realize that even as a business owner, there's still a personal duty for you to educate yourself, take you all through everything you need in our Elite Brew crew. If you're interested, all you got to do is text me the word elite, okay? And you don't have to make your mind up today. I'm not trying to rush y'all in. I have 10 spots, but these spots will go. And I won't say they're going to go fast, but they are going to go to the people that really are interested. You can text me the word elite to 678-460-6504. I do have a payment plan. We can also get you funded for this amount as well. We have a funding partner. So if you want to actually take out some type of funding and be on a some type of payment arrangement, you can do that as well. But you can text me the word elite to 678-460-6504. Please text me at that number and not my personal number, because I'll be able to keep everything organized in there. But, you know, I just wanted to invite y'all personally. I think that is absolutely amazing. And whoever joins this, I'm going to turn you into a multimillionaire this way. I'm going to turn myself into a multimillionaire. This is a dedication, right? I'm not playing. I'm dedicated, determined, and dependable. And if you have a business and you're not connecting it into Web3, you are missing out on so much opportunity that it does not make sense. And then also having that community is huge. So I don't see anybody's hand raised, which is completely fine. You know, I will go ahead and keep going with the day because I have a lot of stuff that I got to get done. But I do appreciate you all so much for tapping in, tuning in, and plugging in the Coffee and Crypto Network. And I would tell y'all to plug in with me ASAP on this deal before it's gone, because when I go to social media, that's where it sells, right? I start here, I try to give y'all a chance, but I'm going to go with social media with this. There's plenty of people that's been DMing me about their businesses and wanting to figure out how to create NFTs and stuff. These are the people that's going to come in, and it would be a damn shame for y'all to allow me to give random people that's not even associated or connected with me the opportunity to join my mastermind group, and then you don't even join the mastermind group. Really think about that. You're the one that's been plugging into my show for 267 episodes. Don't be the person to miss out on the opportunity of a lifetime to work with me for $4,000 before the same program is $25,000 next year. I promise you. That's what the price will be. So get in at 4 before it's 25,000, and then y'all like, man, he's way too expensive. This and all he do is take advantage of us and charge us the most money in the world. It was $4,000. Don't wait until it's 25, because I can't wait until I make that announcement. But I'm gonna ask my brother Billy to go ahead and plug in. Go ahead, Billy.
I just waiting to see what would happen if I didn't say anything. This is my lucky number, 261 today, right? My lucky number today. I didn't know you could have fun on Discord. I didn't know that you can interact like that. It's like it's 63 years old and I'm still learning things today that I didn't know. I should have known, you know. Maybe I need to take your course. I don't know how much more learning I got in me, man. That's just like it's like you make an inheritance and don't leave it for nobody. You know, I die with all the knowledge in me and not know how to share it out. But yeah, it's a really good call. I just want to say thank you and hello and good morning and great day to you. And look at the numbers and what are the charts saying and what are these little coins doing, and should I sell everything I have and put it all in XRP? Do I have enough XRP? What the hell is XRP? There's a lot of stuff to talk about. But you know, you have to be in it to win it. You can't just be popping in. That'll be some kind of song you can write about. You just popping in ain't. I don't know. Anyway, I've had coffee. I'm gonna bow, but just know that 261 is my favorite number today, and I look forward to tomorrow. I'm gonna wear this day out, man. It's crazy, isn't it crazy? Thank you, brother.
It is crazy. And we have an interview, just so y'all know, you're welcome, Billy. We have an interview on our next episode 2, the next episode, we have an interview with a young guy, man, Mr. Travis. He is a Morehouse alumni, current, recent Morehouse College alumni. This guy is absolutely crushing. It. Okay. He has a company that's called DAP Hub, and we're gonna be interviewing him this Thursday coming up. So on the 1st of the month. So he's very, very excited. He's excited to talk about his journey and his software and technology. He comes from the Atlanta Blockchain Center, so he's one of the cohort. And this is a very young guy. He really reminds me of like a young Bill Gates or a young, they were all young, they were all young boys, just creating ideas, and look at what they built. And I'm really excited because he's very dedicated, so make sure that you all are here for that episode to support that young man and learn about his technology with DAP Hub and how you might be able to utilize it in your journey as well, because it is going to be very beneficial to a lot of the Web3 world. Okay. And then last but certainly not least, I think Miss Sharon. Miss Sharon, did you have anything, or are you good to go?
Hold on. I'm good to go. I just wanted to ask a question about your group that you have, because you said it was for business people.
Yeah.
If people aren't doing a business right now, it could still be beneficial for them, correct?
Oh, yeah, but I'm done focusing, and I'm not saying it publicly. I'm done focusing on people.
Okay.
Because chasing y'all to invest, not you, but chasing the world of people to invest in crypto is getting on my nerves. So I'd rather work with business owners because they have a budget. I'm tired of working with, I'm tired of people not, I'm not tired. I am, people make excuses. I don't have the money. I don't have this. Well, when you deal with business owners, they have a budget, so it makes more sense. Now, if you're just like a regular person, you're like, I want to become an entrepreneur, I have ideas, this will be very beneficial because you're going to get to sit in on conversations with millionaires, people who are business owners, and people who are 100,000aires, right? Whatever, who are in this group that are learning about Web3 to scale their businesses. And then just being, because they say if you're around the campfire long enough, you might get lit, So my goal is to be able to bring business owners into a group together, but also future business owners into this group to be able to, because your network is your net worth. So
right. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So with that being said, I hope that y'all have an amazing day. I will see y'all on the next episode this Thursday. And if you need me, or if you want to, if you want to plug in with me, you can text me at 678-460-6504, the word elite, and I will be more than happy to send you information on it. Have an amazing day, and I will see y'all at the beaches and the banks.